We doing?
Frogs fuck. Damn right they do. No stupid questions, but there are no stupid questions, but there is a rhetorical question. And that rhetorical question is, do frogs fuck?
Yeah.
You know, that's just a rhetorical question. So, but yeah. But what's going on, everybody?
Looking through my lines. All these lines.
Becoming a chart artist, are you?
Yeah. Indeed. I'm a chartist.
Those of you that are new, I'm just a degen that draws lines on a chart. If you wish to take that as financial advice, that's on you. Just saying, not financial advice. Do your own research. But we got some juicy shit this week. I guess I gotta get ready to kick off record on this thing. Oh, Young's here, so now I guess it's an official start.
Yes, sir. It's good, Young.
Yo.
How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Good. What are we getting into?
We're getting ready to get her started. So perfect timing. Give me 1 second here. All right. I always forget how to start and stop this fucking event. There we go. All right, so I guess now Trader Tuesday is officially started. But yeah, what the fuck's up, y'all? We're gonna get right to it. We're gonna go to Thor and we're gonna go to Soul. Those that were here last week, it's been an interesting week and we're kind of an interesting range, a range that I don't think many of us expected to see Soul even hit so early, but trending in a range is pretty nice going side to side here. And what I mean by a range is you see here we had this top, and once we broke through it, we completely blasted through. And then we came down and we retested on it. We retested strong and rejected immediately off of it. So that's been a really strong, we see it was resistance, and then became a strong support and support. So I wouldn't be surprised if we come down and test these levels for support again. That's why the reasons we called this short right here is expecting to test that support, and we did so exactly. We had this downtrend here, this price wedge, that I really thought Solana was going to break down and we were going to fill, this daily 4-hour call or maybe even this 4-hour long call. These calls, since breaking up out of this downtrend, these two long calls had since been invalidated. So what we have for Thor now is, we're connecting our bottoms, support. If you look now, we're actually testing support of the long-term EMA and retesting the short-term EMA. So if we don't break up back above our green line and look for the higher high, this would essentially be a smaller term break, and if we fail to make the higher high, that'll be a retest. Break and retest, indicating what? If we have a lower high and then a lower low, lower high, indicating a lower low, indicating lower high, there's this Thor call filled essentially, and potentially lower low after that, right? So that would be filling this Thor call if we continue this downtrend. Now, throwing a fib on this also, let's see what happens. You can see we hit the gold zone, my gold line, perfect, right? We hit the gold line for a retest and we broke trend. Now let's see if we make that lower high. Now, if we break back up and go for, even if we don't make a higher high, but then hold another higher low, then we could essentially maybe adjust our uptrend a little bit to include that, as we would be looking at something more like this, where even if it doesn't make the higher high, but if it somewhere makes a higher low, anywhere makes a higher low than here, then that could indicate we're following this uptrend and looking to fill these Solana short calls, right? Because we do have these two short calls up here. And one of them, we were so close to entry and have now hit take profit 1 and probably hit take profit 2, if not take profit 3 already of this call, but didn't actually quite hit entry. We were very close. So we'll see if this Thor short call does, fill out. Do we pump up to fill that call? And then we have a short up above it. For those of you that may be new to the stream, this red block is the entry point for what Thor is calling for a short. This is the take profit 1 for that call. So this would be the entry point for another short call. This would be the take profit for that call. Now, vice versa, this green block is an entry point for a Thor long call. This gray line signifies where the take profit is. So it's just the way I like to visually look at Thor calls, and then we can go back and see, where did Thor make short and long calls? How did those calls fill? How did things play out? Where did we make calls? Just a way to keep track of things. But there you go. If you're wondering what the fuck all those boxes and lines are. Any questions so far? I know I just spewed out a whole bunch of shit.
Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
I'm just gonna join on my computer so I can talk to you better. Give me 1 second here. I have a question. Sorry.
No worries, dude.
Okay.
What's your gut while we're waiting mode? What's your gut say? We're going down.
Dude, I've been saying I for a while I've been saying we need to cool down. But I tell you what gives me ultra bullish vibes is the fact that Solana went down and nothing happened. Nothing.
Yeah. That's how I knew we were screwed, bro. We were not going down when it didn't break 90, when it literally turned off. I was like, we are not going down right now.
You're not overinflated and overhyped when shit crashes and it has no effect, or no negative effect, I should say. Like,
yeah,
that to me is a pretty bullish signal of who's accumulating and why.
Yeah, I'm on my computer now. I was just wondering, those take profit zones, do those include like TP1, TP2, TP3? Are those all within the box range?
Those are, so each one you see is TP1.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So that's always TP1 is, so let me go back to like for instance, here was a long call.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the TP1. So that's where it filled, was on these candles. That's where it hit TP1. You can see this is where the entry point, where this call entry, it did here as it dipped down. But you can see here's where it hit TP1.
Oh, okay.
So I personally look at a trade as if it hit take profit 1, it was a successful Thor call. That's kind of my criteria is if it hits TP1, it was a valid call.
Okay.
TP2, TP3, what I then do is use my own TA. Let's give an example. Like, let's just say, I'm just going to make up some arbitrary shit right here. But let's say this was the long entry right here, and here was take profit 1, right? So if we hit take profit 1 and say, okay, well, we're still holding support on the long-term EMA. We're still holding support. We're still holding support on the RSI. Maybe I'll look to hit take profit 2. Okay, we're still holding support. I'll look for maybe take profit 3. Now, however, if I look at it and say we're losing support, then I'll probably close out fully at TP1. But yeah, I generally TP1's what I'm going.
All right, that's fair. Do I need to know how to draw all these lines and whatnot to use the manual signs? Like, 'cause you were
Fuck no.
mentioning that. Okay, so I just okay.
Absolutely not, bro. So yeah, I will jump to that now, since because that's one thing I tried to express to everyone is you do not need to know how to look at charts. You don't need to know what these lines even mean or how to draw them. This is my own trading TA, and like for instance, if I throw a fib up here, you know, I'm looking to go short right here. You can see it hit the golden line, which is my short point, right? And then take profit. Look how the take profit point by the blue line here is right at a Thor long entry, and how the retest is right on that white line, that zone, right?
Yeah.
And look how what would be my take profit point right here before this green line is right where the Thor long entry is. And look how the take profit point is right here at the next zone. So to me, this lets me know that my thoughts of going short here or on this break or on this retest, I'm looking at my TP1 at 11%. And my closeout everything at 22%. Now, this is my own TA and lets me line up and say, okay, well, where I'm looking at closing my short, Thor's saying go long. That's probably a good place to close my short. Now I can maybe potentially re-enter my short and close my short where Thor is saying go long, right? Now, you don't need to know how to do any of this. So let me get into that and explain that, because it's way simpler, and this is whether you have Thor regular or Thor Pro. Let me grab a call for that. Okay, so this is Thor Pro. If you have regular Thor, it's really not a whole lot. Actually, let me just pull up regular Thor. It sounds like you're pretty new to using Thor, right?
Yes, brand new.
Okay. Let me go to regular Thor just so you're seeing exactly what you're going to see when you go to use it. Give me 1 second.
I also remember
And Dope Frog, by the
about-
way, the tack vest is like one of my favorite traits.
Is there a specific like trading platform I should use? I remember someone saying like it would be like different price points at different places or something, like different. I don't know.
Well, that's gonna really depend on what assets you're trading, where in the world you are, what assets you are, or exchanges you are allowed to trade on, things like that. So if you're trading, say, Solana and Solana-based pairs, then you can use Bird Eye, Jupiter. Now, if you're going to be trading, other things, you may need to use, say, like Coinbase or an exchange of some type. But again, what exchanges and everything will depend where in the world you are, what's legal, all that kind of
So
shit.
everything is legal for me in Norway, at least. That's what I assume. So maybe Drift
Awesome.
protocol? Maybe Drift?
No, I actually wouldn't recommend Drift necessarily if you have access to everything. You could, I like using Bird Eye and Jupiter for smaller or for Solana tokens, SPLs, meme tokens, whatever. Then you've got, you could use Binance, which is fairly trusted. You could use KuCoin, which has high liquidity trading on it. You could look into a lot of different, but those are centralized exchanges. But then you can look into the decentralized as well, like Jupiter, Bird Eye, etc.
I remember trying BitGet. Is that an okay one?
I personally have never used it and can't really say I've heard much about it to give an opinion, honestly.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah, it's it just depends if you want to use centralized or not. Centralized, I use Coinbase as my on ramp. I'm in the US. But then if I'm like swapping in and out, I'm going to use a DEX like Jupiter. That's where you can take your SOL, swap it into USDC. If you're trying to make a play on SOL or anything Solana native.
Yeah, it's mainly Solana, honestly. That's what I want to try at because that's all I have
So
access
I
to.
would check out Jupiter. Have you used Jupiter before?
Only to swap my Jupiter airdrop.
Okay, yeah.
There you go.
That's the one I would
just
use.
as easy it was to do that is as easy as it is to trade Solana into USDT or whatever else. So if you're familiar with that, that is a one that is trusted and I use as well. So if you're trading Solana and you're familiar with that, yeah, they got good fees. I'd just keep doing that.
Okay, thank you.
Yo, Maud.
What's up?
Why would you wouldn't recommend Drift?
If you have access to everything, excuse me, still getting over this damn cold. If you have access to everything, it's not necessarily the one I would recommend. If you are limited to what you can use, it just doesn't have the highest liquidity and things like that as some of the other ones. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying if you are in a place where you can use literally everything, it's probably not the best one. The number one I would recommend. That's all.
One tip, whatever, is what I do, because I notice the differences in prices. So say if you're looking at like, Bonk or something, just some token, and it says at whatever you're looking at, it says the price is this. So then just go to like Jupiter, swap it to where you're swapping, it says Bonk at the top and then USDC, and put one Bonk. So put one Bonk and it'll tell you what it's swapping for then, right? Like the price. So you can see, because it can say whatever it wants on all the different stuff. But if you're going to Jupiter and it says that, it's going to swap for that price. So that's something you can do to see kind of what it's going for.
Thank you. I'll keep that
Yeah.
in mind. But for when I do trade, I'm on Jupe right now. There's like a perpetual thing. That's where you're supposed to do all this now.
Okay,
the perpetuals?
so if you want to, I would highly recommend. We have a Tuesday Trader review channel on the left sidebar here. It will teach you. There's one that tells you exactly how to use Thor and everything. I also have a bunch of write-ups on what different things mean. What is the difference between spot trading? What is the difference between perpetual trading? So spot trading is, and I'm just going to stick to Solana, right, as the example. If I buy 5 Solana spot trading, right, I can now move that 5 Solana to a ledger. I can go buy 5 Sol NFT with that 5 Sol. I can do whatever I want with that Solana. Now, if I buy 5 Sol on a perpetual is a contract. So a perpetual is a contract that's for the value of 5 Solana at that time. I don't actually own 5 Solana. So I can't move it to a different wallet. I can't buy an NFT with it. All I can do is sell it at some point. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, isn't that what everyone is doing though? Like, well, when it comes to trading like this on Binance and such, or do people spot trade?
Definitely, a lot of people spot trade because, well, it depends what type of trader you are. Are you looking to literally just have a certain amount of USD and at the end of the trades have more USD value? Or are you trying to accumulate more SOL while you think Solana is low and like as an investment trader for looking to get as much as you can for 2-3 years from now and looking to sell that? So you have to decide what type of trader you are and what type of trading you're doing.
Yeah, it's more of the first one, the one where like USD value and then at the end of it more. While I do like, because AutoThor is gathering Solana for me, so I was thinking that could do that while I do the other one. You know.
Perfect. There's nothing wrong with that strategy at all. Okay. So yes, you probably want to be trading perpetuals then. And here's a big difference of perpetual and spot trading too. Like if you're buying, I mean, I'm not going to say $107 Solana is low, but if you're buying if you think $100 for Solana is cheap, do you necessarily want to get stopped out? Or do you want to, well, I'm just going to leave that as now a long-term trade? Because if it's a perpetual, you're either getting stopped out or potentially liquidated. So, but we'll, just for the sake of conversation and what we're going with, we're going to stick to what you said. You basically are trying to just accumulate more USD, make more cash through trading, essentially. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll kind of stick with for how I'm going to explain these things, at least for right now. So again, if you go into the Tuesday Trader Review, there is a whole thing on Thor and exactly how to use it and everything else. But I'll go through and show you here as well. So if we go to the 4 hour, right here's where you choose your asset, right? We're going to choose Solana because that's what we're talking about. If you see the little asterisk next to it, that means there is a trade for it. Same with the time frame. That means there's a call for somewhere in the 15. There's no calls on the 1 hour time frame. There's calls on the 4 hour, there's calls on the daily. We'll just go to 4 hour for right now. Now, time frame is another thing you need to understand. It sounds like you're fairly new to trading, so I'm talking as if you are a novice to trading. I'm not trying to sound like I don't know your level of trading, so I'm not trying to be disrespectful if you already know what I'm saying.
I'd have the same level as your grandparents or something. It'd be right there.
Okay, gotcha, cool. So a 15-minute call, right, does not mean, oh, when it hits this, it's going to then take profit in 15 minutes or anything like that. What this means is on the 15-minute time frame from entry to take profit, you're usually looking at anywhere from several hours to maybe even that day for it to hit the take profit, right? If you go to the hourly, you're looking at, maybe that day to even a couple days to take profit. And what I mean by that, if I go to a regular SOL chart, just to show you an example, like I was just talking about potentially going short if we make a lower high to then ride down to here, right? Well, a 15-minute trade, you may be trading just this pump right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
A 1 hour trade, you might be, so we can say overall we've been going up, right? We've been in an uptrend. Well, this may be a 1 hour short call where, this could be a 4 hour long. So it's like, are you trying to get money out of just this candle right here?
Yes,
and this little teeny dip, then this would be on like a 15-minute chart. If you're trying to get maybe like this whole pump right here, now you're looking at like what would be a 1 hour chart. If you're looking to get, this whole arch, you're looking at 4 hour. If you're looking to get, from here up, you're looking at daily. So it's how long is it really going to take, and what fraction of the chart are you going for? For instance, if you entered long right here, right? If you entered long here and you wanted to take profit up here, right? That's a span of 22 days. Now, if you wanted to make your money before 22 days, you could be taking a short right here over the course of 2 days. So you think, wait a minute, how the hell could I be going short when I should be going long? Well, if you're trading the daily and the 4 hour, you're looking for this part. You're not really concerned with this little dip right here. But if you're an hour or a 15-minute trader, this is the type of move that you're trying to catch. Does that make sense? How there can be longs and shorts going on at the same time?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Now we're going to go back to Thor again. Okay, so I'll go to the 4 hour. So just like I had those boxes drawn, Thor has the boxes drawn for the entry points. It does not have the box drawn for the take profit point. That's just something I like to do to help me visually. But I can look and say, okay, this first entry, 98.12 to 99.81, that's this first entry zone here. TP1 is 105.56. I can even mark it myself if I want. 105.
Wait. So the
I
entry
know
could be
it's-
whatever, anything within that range of 99.8 to 98.1.
Yep. So
So you just pick and choose.
Yes. So what you can do is just make your, like, let's say you want to trade $50, right? You could maybe put $10 entry right here, $20 entry right here, and maybe $20 entry right here. So you're DCAing in if you want, or just, you can just pick a point in the middle, whatever you like. But sometimes it'll barely hit the top. Sometimes it'll fill the whole zone. That's kind of up to you, right? But then, so it's kind of like the take profit. Are you scaling out at 105, then 107 and 109? Are you scaling in at 99, at 98, 9? Like, it's up to you how you enter. But anywhere in this zone, basically, Thor is saying if price action hits this zone, expect it to potentially hit TP1 at 105.56.
Okay.
Right?
What's that box below though? Or is that just
this box below right here would be the next call right here.
Oh, okay.
At 95.93 to 96.26. That's the next entry zone with a take profit at 95.93. So I could draw a line at 95. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. 103.36. I was like, what the hell? So I know entry, take profit, entry, and take profit. That's why I like to, on my personal charts, draw it as the rectangle, because then I know, okay, that's the first call, right? That's the second call. So I like to map it out visually. But again, you don't have to do any of this. If you look at any call, right, you'll see this button right here, set up the trade, RM. RM stands for risk management. But you see it says set up the trade. So we're going to click the risk management button. And here you're going to enter an amount in USD. We're trading, we're just going to stick to Solana USD, right? That's what we're trading. So I'm going to enter a USD amount here that is the maximum I'm willing to lose on this trade, the maximum I'm willing to risk. So let's say I'm not willing to lose more than $10 on this trade, right? I'm going to enter 10. Well, after frog 10. Calculate. So if I want a 1-to-1 risk to reward, which means basically lose 10 or make 10, this would be 1-to-5, lose 10 or make 15, or 2-to-1, lose 10, make 20. I tend to stick with either the 1.5 or the 1-to-2 personally. right? It's
Lose
just
10 or
what's
make
your
20.
tolerance?
Wait, isn't that the same as the first one then? 1-to-1? Aren't they both 2x's?
No,
Or am I-
1-to-1 would be $10 to $10. 1-to-2 would be $10 to $20.
Oh. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Sorry.
Right. So if I wanted to, like, let's just stick with the middle, just because it's the middle, make it easy, right? What I'm going to do, if I want to take this trade right here, if I want to take this long call, this is a 4-hour entry, one Solana. I'll go ahead and click risk management. I'm willing to lose up to $10 on this trade maximum. I hit calculate. I'm going to go to the middle here. And now I know I'm going to buy 1.79 Solana at 98.12, which is the bottom of the entry zone. And I'm going to sell that 1.79 Solana at 105.56 at TP1. And I'm going to set my stop loss at 92.54.
Wait, so it's telling you everything perfectly as depending on the amount you're betting? That's insane.
Everything you need to know is right here. You do not need
Or
to ever
fucks.
look at a chart. Ever. You don't need to understand chart lines. You don't need to understand time frames. You don't need to understand candles. If you can literally come to Thor and have the discipline to set your buy, set your sell, set your stop loss, forget, rinse, and repeat, you can be a profitable trader.
Wow.
It takes the emotion out of it. And that's your weakness. when
Dude,
investing.
I love it when people fucking get it. I love it when people fucking get it.
Wow,
'Cause
that's
I felt the
amazing.
same way. Wow. Like, wait,
Yeah.
what? Wow.
It just does everything
Wait, you mean
for
I
me.
don't have to do
There's-
shit? I just set it and forget it?
Yeah,
Ah,
I'm just putting in numbers, relying on a successful Thor. Like, hello, and I have my stuff in Auto Thor, dude. It seems
Dude,
easy
it's
to
a
be
hack,
true,
man.
but it's insane. Yeah,
It's a
this
hack.
is wild. Yeah. Wow.
You're only going to get better at doing it
And you
too.
can
The more
have
you do it.
access to how many assets? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, this is
So
wild.
another way to use Thor, it seems like you pick, it's pretty self-explanatory. Let's find, it's the same way for a short call. Let's go daily, and now we have some short calls, right? So you see, just like I had on my chart, I had the long call, and there's the two short entries. Same thing. Let's say you want to take a short, or let's say you want to make a little bit more SOL with your bag of Solana, right? Let's say you have 10 Solana. You want to make more Solana with it. You may potentially want to go to risk management. You're willing to give up $10, right? Calculate. You're going to sell 1.29 of your Solana at $120.06, and you're going to buy that 1.29 Solana back at $1.09 or $1.0972, or sell that 1.29 SOL at 120.6, and whatever cash you get, buy even more SOL at 109.72. Take your profit into Solana instead of keep your profit in cash. But this is how you can use Thor to potentially make more Solana with the Solana you already have.
I see.
right? So it's a way to, and then you have your stop loss. You say, okay, well, if it reverses, I'm just going to buy that 1.29 Solana back at 127.81, and it cost me an extra $10, but I still have my 10 Solana. I still have my 10 Solana ready to ride up, invest, or whatever. I only lost $10, but you could potentially buy even more than the 1.29 back at $1.0972.
You got a
So
question
that's how you get it.
in the chat mode when you get done with what you're saying.
All right. Saying, a lot of people got Jupiter. Go to Jupiter. Well, there's no calls for Jupiter right now. It doesn't look like. Nope. But when Thor gets more data and has more key points, there'll be calls. So if you got a free bag of Jupiter, look to some of the shorts to potentially make more Jupiter with the Jupiter that you already got, right?
Can I make just USDC like the same way with the longs?
You
Like
can
when I'm
do it with
short?
the longs or the shorts. Absolutely. Yeah. So if you were to do it, if you want to make USDC on the short, right? What you would do is sell that 1.29 SOL at $120.06. You're going to buy that 1.29 SOL back, and you're going to have extra cash, right?
Mhm.
Or I was saying you could use that extra cash, and you're actually going to be buying more than 1.29 SOL if you sold it at 120. You get what I'm saying? So you could keep the profit in cash or USDT simply by buying 1.29 back. If you want to take your profit in SOL, just buy whatever USDC you get, buy that full amount at the lower price.
So it's $100 bet though, because I'm selling 1.29, but the stop loss is set to where I'd only lose $10. Is it, if I understand right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. If you put your calculate to 10, or let's say you're willing to go up to 20, you'll see the numbers have now all changed. Your entry point has not changed. Your take profit point has not changed. But the amount you buy and your stop loss will vary.
Like, but why is it always like a high number? Can it be less or less than $100 or 2.5 SOL or?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Like, cause I'm trading with like 2.58 Solana, no, with in the short.
Yes, okay. I get what you're saying. Like, say you only want your account is, only $200 total or $100 total in your trading account. Then you're going to want to lower this because the name of the game is to keep your risk small, right? You always want to protect your capital. So now you're going to be looking at a trade of risking only maybe $2 per trade if your overall capital is, say, $100. Right?
Okay.
So now, you're going to sell a quarter of a Solana at that same price, 120, and you're going to buy that quarter of a Solana back at that same take profit at 109.72.
Okay.
Now you think, well,
sense.
that's pretty small gains. It is, but small gains add up and compound, and because, okay, instead of 0.26, let's just say $4. Now you're trading half a Solana. So you see how it compounds pretty quickly and why minimal risk with maximum gain is the way that Thor calculates and that we promote.
Mm. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Right. So if you're saying, $10 calculate, well, I only have, 1.5 SOL. I don't want to sell almost all of it in this one trade. No, that's not proper. There's two types of risk management, right? There's portfolio management and there's individual trade management. So, like, let's say an individual trade, you don't want to risk more than 5%, right? Well, if your portfolio, you want to make sure you're not risking more than 5% on that trade either. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, this is to manage the one trade. Well, if you need to manage your portfolio, change this number and say, okay, this is more what's reasonable for my portfolio valuable of the 5 Solana that I have, selling a quarter of one. Okay, that's reasonable. So this helps you calculate, you enter your risk tolerance and that it helps you calculate based upon your risk tolerance. Exactly what it says. The amount, this should be capital YOU, the amount you are willing to risk, because ultimately you're the one that calculates that tolerance.
Mm-hmm. And I don't have to buy back the SOL, right? For when I open a short, for example, like on a perpetual, I could close it at the take profit if I'm shorting from whatever. Right?
Well, yes, that's essentially closing it would be buying it back. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you would, let's say you just wanted to do this as a perpetual, yes. You would sell 2.58 SOL. Well, let me just go back to a lower number so it's maybe just seems more manageable. Okay, you're going to sell half a Solana or open a short contract for half a SOL at 126 cents, and you're going to close that contract at 109 and 72 cents, or close that for a profit, or you're going to close that contract at 127.81 for a loss of $4.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Dude. Yeah. I fully understand now. Thank you. Wow.
I love when people get it. It's the wow factor. Like, wow, really? Okay. I don't understand all those charts and crazy lines and what the fuck you were talking about, but I understand this,
Yeah, all this trading stuff was really messing with my brain, but you understand it and you explain it in a very noob friendly way, which is appreciated.
That's the point of Trader Tuesdays. Each the first Tuesday of each month is a Trader 101, where literally take it to the basics. What is a long? What is a short? What is a perpetual? What is, like that? Literally everything. What do the dime frames mean? Like, what is leverage? How do I just make sure I don't get fucking wrecked? Anybody else have questions on this risk management while we were on? This was just perfect that you had these questions in order for me to just go through it like this. This is like the perfect explanation on how to use Thor properly. So yeah, but anybody else have questions?
There was a guy in chat who had a question, I think.
Oh, yes, Rumty did say that. Give me a sec.
Yeah, I was
Chat.
asking about the percentages for 4-hour calls and 1-day calls, how often they're hitting and success rate.
Okay, so that changes all the time based on month to month, asset to asset, and everything else. I will say I think a fair, safe average to say is about 70%. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower, but the 4-hour is usually the highest percentage of calls that are triggered to calls that hit take profit. And that's one of the reasons on Trader Tuesday we focus on 4-hour chats and 4-hour calls.
Appreciate that. Awesome. Love the dig into the risk management portion. That was epic.
For sure, dude. It's literally like I try to close with that every week too, because like I said, if you don't want to look at charts, if charts just confuse you, you don't need to confuse yourself anymore. You just need to understand risk management. Like you don't need to ever look at a chart to be profitable if you understand risk management. Now as an investor, if you're long-term investing, okay, maybe now you want to look at charts and maybe understand fundamentals of a token and long-term market cycle and everything else because you're getting in a long-term position. Whereas all these Thor calls tell you when to get in, but also when to get out, right? And let me show you what I mean by that again is let me pull up the chart here. Come on, fucker. Okay, so if we're going to hit a long call, right? That means Thor has to be going down, or I'm sorry, that means Solana has to be going down, right? We're not going to hit a long call if Solana, I don't know why I keep saying Thor, jeez. We're not going to hit a long call if Solana price is going up. Solana price has to be going down in order to hit the long call. So what Thor is saying is if we hit this zone, this is where you want to enter. This is where you want to look to get out. It's not saying if we hit here, this is the new bottom before we go to Valhalla and just pump. No, maybe we will. Maybe this will be the fucking lowest we ever see Solana again, and we just go to the fucking Mars, fuck the moon. Probably not. But what it is saying is that if we hit this entry zone, we are most likely going to test this resistance. And that's where you want to look to close your trade, right? Same thing. If Sol then drops to this zone, this entry, Thor is saying there is a very high probability that we are going to retest this zone and this what was support as a resistance before either coming back down or before then maybe potentially going up. Don't know which way. What we do know is it's most likely going to, if we hit this entry zone, there's a very high probability that we're going to retest this zone. So what I'm saying here is Solana price has to be going down for this long call to fill. That's why it said get in, get out. Solana has to be dipping to hit this call. That's why it says get in and get out. And maybe not get out fully, but take profit. That's why it's called TP, take profit, and maybe then use some other TA and assess. But make sure you take profit when you hit the take profit points. You know, just like vice versa, let's look at going up. We have to price has to pump in order to hit these shorts. Well, it's saying if we hit this zone, there's a high probability we are going to find resistance and then retest support on this point. That's where you take profit. But Sol could be going up. That's what I mean. Sol could be going, but Thor calling for shorts because Thor is confident in the probability of retesting these zones. But that's why maybe in our own TA, we could be opening a short on if we fail to make a higher high, or if we find resistance on the EMA, we could look to open a short and close in the long entry. Close in the long entry. But you don't need to do that. This is my own technical analysis, how I use Thor to confirm what I'm seeing in the charts. And yeah, use it as confirmation and then use it to take the zones. But that's one thing to understand. People, it's one of the most common questions I get is, well, Sol's pumping. Why is Thor calling for a short? Because it's confident in a retest zone. It's not confident that it's going to go short forever. Just like here, if it's going down, if Solana's going down, why is it calling for a long? Because it's confident it's going to go long and retest that zone. That's why there is an entry and a take profit point. Now, if you're investment trading, maybe you want to buy Solana here at $86, and maybe your TA and everything else tells you that that's relative bottom, and we could take a big pump up to 160 next. So you don't want to close on this zone. But that's when your own TA and investment trading comes in a little different than just look at Thor. Because if you're just looking at Thor, when it says get in, get out, I suggest you follow what Thor says and get in and get out. Otherwise, you can find yourself, this may be considered catching a falling knife, right? Sol's dropping. Yeah, but Thor is confident and has a high success rate in calling these retest zones. Hope I didn't just overcomplicate it.
Yeah, you fucked it all up, bro. What the fuck?
We got the mayor himself. What's up, homie?
Hey, brother. I've been thoroughly enjoying watching this, man. No, you didn't fuck anything up, dude, at all. That's awesome.
Good.
Dude, yeah. I know what it's like talking into a void when no one responds. My whole thing, and you know where I'm at on the trading stuff too, and how we talk about it is so much what your strategy is if you're going spot, where most people with size will play more heavily, versus like perpetuals, and interpreting the Thor calls has it's like there's more than one way to skin a cat. You know what I mean? As terrible of an analogy as that is, but it's just so fucking interesting to see how other people use it. Because I use it like such a fucking boomer, And then you've got other people doing like the 15-minute leverage stuff. Anyways, man, great explanation. Not overcomplicated at all. Thorough, and I love it. And I'm enjoying watching it. It's nice to not be on the
Perfect,
stage and voting myself, bro.
I even check with Sile every now and again. I'll be like, hey dude, can you just like go read some of my latest write-ups and make sure like I'm promoting the use of Thor the way that you intend it? Because if I'm sitting here saying, do this, do that, and he's like, whoa, what the fuck are you talking about? That would not be good.
Nah. You know what it's like though? Most people who sit in DJ shitcoin traders with Sile know how much of a fucking boomer trader he is too. You know, like I don't know. It's just cool to see it. It all depends on when you get into the market too. I would say, you know, your positioning in your bags dictates how you interpret Thor. You know, did you go spot long at a long call and it kept dipping? Well, now you know you're probably buying more spot long at some of the lower levels and shit like that. So it is something that you can do what we suggest, which is, you know, plan your trade and trade your plan. So it's just cool to see how other people use Thor, man. I get lost in the sauce, sort of how I cook with it, and don't see how other people interpret it.
I tell you, it was doing my own TA for so long before I knew what Thor was, and I had actually bought a frog when Thor was still just desktop, and I just found myself not really using it much due to user interface. And I tell you, had I realized how good it was, I probably would have dealt with the user interface and made it work. But as Thor evolved and it became web-based and the interface improved, yeah, it's just like, holy fuck. I several times I would find I finally got, you know, like this call here. I couldn't make this call until this retest was potentially established, right? Often, so I couldn't make this call until 11 o'clock on the 17th. Often, like this call we just missed. This call was made long before that. It just missed that zone, like perfect. Like by not even a whole dollar, right? So my point is, so many times I thought I would, my own TA would line up with a Thor call that was made way before my own TA could ever reveal it. And the more that I found that to be true, the more I just kept following Thor, trusting Thor, using Thor, and ultimately it just enhances my trading. For a minute, it was fucking me up because I'm like, wait a minute, my TA saying to go short. Why is Thor saying go long? And I'm like, oh, Thor is saying to go long for this retest in this zone. Okay, now I see why Thor's going long when everything's going down right now. Got it. Great. Then I learned how to incorporate it with my own calls. Like I said, I don't know if you were on throwing a fib and where I would make my entry on the gold zone or after this break and on the next retest. My take profit zone would be right here just before the blue line, which just so happens to be exactly on the Thor long call, and the take profit lines up with exactly the zero of the fib. Where I look to take profit is just before I get to the green line. That's where I look to close out. Happens to be just exactly where Thor calls along and retests basically right along with that fib. So these calls were made long before my own TA could have lined them up. Now that my own TA lines them up, I have even more confidence in these calls if we do hit these zones. Makes it easier for me to plan my trade and trade my plan without having emotion, right? It makes the execution of those trades easier, because here's another. I'll be open. I am way better at TA than I am at actually trading. Drawing lines and saying enter here is easy. Pushing the buttons to buy and sell and make those decisions is not the same as drawing the lines, right? So seeing that Thor's calling it, my own TA's calling it, it makes it easier for me to push the buttons to buy and sell and set those trades without having any emotion attached. Which is the hard part of becoming a trader, and why I still believe Sal's a robot.
Seeing that Thor's got $14 sold called has got me double bricked. So
wait, what? You talking about this guy down here?
What? On the one day.
$7 to $14. Holy shit.
Hey, all I'm saying is everybody said $8. So yeah, and then Thor's like, fuck you, and then all of a sudden $8 wait.
Yeah,
all I'm saying is
$8 went away. I thought we were in the clear. And now this 7 to 14 shit. I'm with it.
all I'm saying is, look, that's like, this is the zone it called, right? Look how close it was to the bottom. Then what happened once we broke it? Support, support, support. And we never came back to it. Right? But look how perfectly almost we found support on the top of that zone without ever revisiting it. That's why I still have this box right here. I think is a golden entry zone, because we have never retested price here, and we have a little zone right here we never really retested.
I saw there was like a newer 15-minute call too.
A little bit there, but not as much. But because this candle here was so quick, and then because we blew out this zone so fast, I don't know. I still think, and if you look, I'm going to go to a daily just so we can get more view. Why did that support line disappear? Oh, there you go. If you look at this major support line from the very bottom, how quickly we jumped off of it, we got to hear how quickly we jumped away from it. It wouldn't surprise me that if we come back down to this line, we find strong support on it again. And we blew through this zone. I think we could revisit it. That's also on the strong support. I really do feel that we could see a mid 30 to mid 40 Solana.
Please.
And still be bullish long term, right? I know it's hard to say. How are you going to say dropping 60% is still bullish? But if you look at support, that's still finding support here on this. That's still making low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, indicating what? A potential higher high, right? Like, again, that's the thing you're looking at time frame, and where, here's something to consider too. Talking about time frame, let me get rid of this just so we can see a little more. From where we are right now to where this line is and where I have that gold zone drawn of where I would like to just buy the fuck up if it ever hits it. That's in July. If it takes the trend of where we see it right now, right? So again, keep in mind your time frame. it may not be till July. Or we could never see these zones again. But if we see these zones again, I know what has happened every time we've hit this line. Every time we've hit this line, we've exploded. Hit it again, exploded. If we drop another 60%, people are going to paper hand the fuck out. And I promise you, Thor's going to make some new calls and probably be fucking buying. Right? Like,
Oh, it will.
And if we lose that, if we lose this major green line, that's when I will take into consideration this big zone right here that Thor's calling to really load up, right? That $14 to $7.
I won't have any kidneys left, man. Like,
Bro.
Yo,
fuck my car, fuck everything else. All my Pokemon
everything
cards
must go.
needed.
Y'all remember that van I had that I sold to buy $8 Solana? It's like, I'll sell my girlfriend, my cat, my fucking shoes. I don't care.
Power play.
Yeah.
Play.
You can buy back like one of those that have 10x past that, you know, you'll be fine.
This is why fucking those are the events spot traders wait for. And when they happen, you know, we're excited. So yeah.
It'd also be awesome if you entered the auto trader when Sol was like $20 with a bag.
Well, think about that too. If you've been with us this whole time, you bought a bunch of $18 to $24 Solana, you sold it all the way up to 120. And if we go back down to these ranges, we still have like $600,000 of USDC in the contract that we'll be buying this cheap ass Solana. So it does expand your time horizon and your perspective of the contract. You know, when you start looking at it fucking zoomed out like this too, it automates all this shit. Meanwhile, it's playing with little small ranges. So fun stuff.
I'm just trying to outpace Auto with my bag that I've got from what we're learning here, and I can't beat Auto.
No, dude, if I am so Mode, you're fucking a gem and you are a huge value to this community, and listening in, you literally do give people the keys to the kingdom to these conversations on what you're covering. And you guys have Thor and you can learn how to do it. It is also easy to set a small bag of your risk averse, crypto portfolio in the auto thing, and then learn how to trade in these conversations and with Thor. And that's the best of both worlds. So fucking keep doing it. You'll get it. It takes a long time, but you'll fight your emotions regardless of how long you've been trading for. It will never stop.
Here's one thing I found pretty powerful looking at the contract and trading as a whole, and we know we're talking about trying to outperform Auto Thor, whatever, right? Auto Thor has $2.4 million to work with, right? $2.4 million to work with.
Do you want to make
and it's executing trades for $4,000 to $6,000 for the most part.
That's like 0.01%.
Yeah,
but keep in mind, that's my point. That's what I'm saying. Like when we were using the risk management tool and then only putting $2 in instead, it's like, well, wait a minute. What? How? No, that's the point. Very small losses and accumulate bigger wins, right? Just accumulate the big wins, consecutive wins that are larger than losses accumulate and compound. And as Thor grows larger, this will grow larger. But you think a $4,000 trade isn't fucking shit when you have $2.4 million to work with. But it is proven, and it has proven itself for over 10 years, and it continues to prove itself through this ever-changing market time and time again. So that it's just I don't know. That really opened up my eyes to, okay, maybe I'm even seeking gains that are too big sometimes. And I have to accept that some of these smaller wins are actually really big wins, right? And how to manage my portfolio as a whole better, noticing how Thor manages, it has a $2.4 million portfolio, but is only making a $4,000 trade, right? It's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be trading with as big a chunk at a time.
Yeah.
Maybe I should be
a third of my bag on this call.
right. Don't blow 30% of your account on a single Thor call or whatever, right? Like it's manage your risk, limit the risk, and compound the wins, right? Are TP and SL visible to market makers? So not unless they have Thor. Market makers probably essentially set the TPs and the stop losses that Thor then takes from them, I would think. But no, there's no way for do you mean the take profit point and stop losses for auto Thor? Because some of those trades, yes, there is going to already be the orders set for some of the sell points. Some of it is going to be in the order books, if that's what you mean. If you're talking about what we're looking at for the manual calls, no, that's not like posted, printed anywhere except for people looking at Thor.
And my only question is when Auto Thor market maker?
I mean,
Hey, Rob,
as this grows,
hey, Rob, we don't speak of that.
As this grows, it can push around the order books more and more with, positions bigger and bigger. As Sol liquidity grows, we are also ready to do so. But, I mean, yeah, the 2.4 mil is getting to be a fucking whale wallet. And
yes, sir.
I will say, I was, those of you that were with me on Trader Tuesday last week, I talked about when I would look to re-enter the contract. And I said I was looking to re-enter the contract down here at these long calls, or if we broke and found support, because I had sold some SOL at 101. Well, we came down, we found that support, and I got right back. Well, when we broke, I re-enter. I put everything back into the contract right here. After I had broke even, I put my stop loss to break even. Actually, a little bit to cover fees, but basically break even. That's what that red line was, right? And then re-entered on the retest and let Auto Thor take it from there. So that's what I said I was going to do, and that's exactly what I did, because I had money that I was waiting to enter Auto Thor from up here, that I was waiting to enter down longer, or in these longs if I could. Didn't make it there. So when I had taken the profits here, even though it pumped up, I still got in under what some of those profits were even. But that's managing my risk, right? I was ready to make the big gain. I saw it was going the other way, so I took no loss or a very, very small loss. Okay, no big deal. Let's fucking roll. Next. Right? Next. That's another thing to understand. Let me pull Thor back up. I used to get upset, even to the point where I get mad sometimes when I would miss a call. Like, fuck, I have been waiting for long and it finally hit, blah, blah, and I'd fucking get mad I missed it. Which is just so fucking silly and stupid. Because there's always another call. And when I say there's always another call, I'd just like you to see that there's always another call. And in case you haven't seen yet, there's always another call. And if you somehow miss these, there's still another call. You get what I'm saying? Like long-term investment opportunities, you only have maybe one chance to catch the bottom, right? But when it comes to Thor, because it's giving you entries and take profits, there's always another call. Look at them all. Like let's just say you're only willing to take calls that give you at least 5%, right? This is something you can do in Thor Pro. I only want calls that are going to give me at least 5% profit. Well, look at all these. It still give you 5% profit, right? There's always another call. So don't go chasing if you missed one. Set up for the next one. Got it?
I got it.
Perfect. All right.
I was gonna say
Let me pull
about
up the chart again. What was that, bro?
I was gonna say whenever you get done with what you're doing, see what you think about where Gecko is at.
Gecko. All right.
Oh yeah, I took that call that 1 hour earlier. Looks like it's gonna
A Gecko call?
Yeah. It looks depleted enough. But what do I know?
To me, it looks like it's drained as a motherfucker.
Literally.
What I ultimately want to see, so we got the break, right? But we kind of failed the retest. We didn't hold a higher low, right? We actually made a lower low. So I need to see us hold a higher low somewhere, right? I want to see the break and the retest, that higher low indicating potentially a higher high. But yeah, this is getting pretty flatline, but we haven't, hit a solid bottom. Like here, we bounced, broke through. We haven't hit a bottom that we've bounced off of and up from yet. I want to see something to at least make a bounce up, make that higher low and potentially that higher high. What was I looking at? I think it was Jupe. Wasn't it Jupe?
Yeah, Jupe broke that, but then keeps following the little downtrend down. No, it's yeah.
Okay, so You see how when Jupe had broke and made the higher low, see, I had even drawn the line saying this is what I want to see. I want to see that break and retest, and we got it. Now we're kind of going in the zone, but we haven't. I mean, it barely, it's about even, right? It's not really a lower low yet. So if we don't hold support and continue down, we'll see if this support holds. But this is the first time we've seen a bottom, and then a higher low, right? Instead of bouncing down lower, we actually bounced up higher, right there at the 48 cent, right? Same thing here, right here at the 48 cents. So we'll see if we hold that. I mean, ultimately, if we hold this 47, 46, but yeah, it's hard to tell without much price data yet either. You know, we don't have like a lot on this chart, but if you accentuate it, you can see, you know, we kept making lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. This did make a higher high, but immediately came back to the lower low. Lower high, lower low. Lower high, lower low. Higher high, higher low. So this is the first indication that we've got something going on different than just this straight downtrend. So from what we have now, do your own research, not financial advice. This looks like the ultimate zone of accumulation. Right? But yeah, basically here below 50 cents. We'll see if this holds. Now, if you're looking at Jupiter right now, this is also a 4-hour chart, keep in mind. If you're looking at Jupiter right now, what I'd want to see is, even though it's shorter term, but you're looking for right now, which is shorter term, as soon as it breaks this line, right? I want to see the same thing on this line on a smaller scale. Somewhere for it to break that line and retest, whether it be down here, whether it be right here, right now. But I want to see it break through this downtrend, right? This red downtrend, because we've got resistance, resistance, resistance. Could potentially be printing resistance right now. May break it right now. That's fine. But I at least need to see, if I'm looking to do something right now, I need to see it break this line before I'm going to go long. But if you're trying to accumulate Jupe, or you can see here's where I sold my Jupe. This is the zone that I did start buying a little bit back, because I sold up here on that second pump about a quarter of what I got for free, maybe half, between a quarter and somewhere in there. So this is now 20 to 25% cheaper in this zone. So I'll start looking to DCA back in a little bit.
I do have a question, Mode. You said for the Jupe, like, it's not, I guess it's kind of goes hand in hand with what we talked about last week, where it's like trading within a zone. But like how, because technically that low is a lower low, right? That's that drop. So how, like, when it, like, how do you feel out?
It didn't close lower.
Oh, okay. It didn't close lower. That's okay.
Well, I guess it did, but like micro. And you're talking about something volatile as fuck.
Yeah.
Right?
So you're looking for the close. You're not looking for the wick down.
Yeah, a lot of times the wicks are liquidating. The wicks will stab, stop losses a lot of times and not hang around in those zones. But but it didn't necessarily like close lower. Now it very well could. I mean, this very well could just keep printing down.
Yeah,
But
you're looking
a
for the
lot of
close,
times,
like you
strong candles down can represent the bottom. Strong candles on the top can represent tops, right?
Mhm.
You know, strong candles on top, not always a good sign. Strong candles on bottom, a
It's like
good
it tried
sign
to
of
push down
potential.
and then move
It's
back up.
trying to push down, but price didn't stay down there.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Same thing. We've been. I know, Rumpty, you have brought this one up before. Chonky. Yeah, we're going super degen now.
Let's go.
We're into super degen shit.
Yeah, in too deep.
So this pump, I can't believe that filled. That was kind of crazy. I was looking at this zone for TP1 and this zone on TP2 on that, and it fucking filled. And then since then, I had that downtrend and kind of knew it was going to refill this zone. You see what it did? It tapped in this zone for a moment and then found support on it and blasted away. Now we have the downtrend, and now we're coming back to this lower zone of accumulation that we look to be finding support or entering and maybe entering an accumulation phase in. So if you're bullish on Chonky or you got a bag of Chonky, it looks like we could be entering a lower accumulation zone here.
Not financial advice, but I'm gonna buy in 3 days from now. You know how it works.
Rumpy is found often when I make calls. They come the bottom or the top that I call is around 3 days later. It seems to happen kind of often. Kind of like right here, I made this circle because this is when I alerted you. I said, "Hey, get ready. It looks like we're entering the ultimate zone to accumulate some more bonk. If you're bullish on bonk." Right there is when I said it, and oh well, this was 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, not just 3 days.
Yeah, it's kept going down. I kept buying, but it was
anyway,
lower.
pretty close. But you see how I said the same thing. I thought this zone was going to be a big zone of accumulation, and as soon as we hit the bottom, we found support. We've come back in. We hit the bottom, and for now, we have found support. Will we continue to ride this? We'll find out. Not financial advice. Do your own fucking research.
You did have a question in the chat too from Matt.
All right, hang up. What's with these? Okay, so do you mean what's a good, like if you miss the short entry, what is how much leverage should you use to catch up in the short entry? Is that what you mean? I see your connection sucks. You can't talk. What I would say about you don't want to chase, right? Let me just go to Solana again real quick, just to explain this point. All right. I'm going to use this long call down here just because it's the most visually appeasing because it's the way away from all the other bullshit, right? Let's say you want to enter this call. I'm going to find my long position. a take profit. And let's say for a stop, whoop,
And he's going in.
what's up?
You're just getting yeeted fucking here right now.
Oh, great. Okay, so let's just say this is the call you want to take, right? So here's your entry point. There's your take profit. Here's your stop loss. Now, if you miss the entry point, right now this trade is a 3.3. So basically, if you were to give up $10, you're making 33, right? Let's just say it's a 3-to-1. Now, if you start chasing it, you're shrinking your profits while also increasing your risk to what is appropriate stop loss, right? So now, just by chasing that entry zone, by late from here to here, you've gone from a 3.5 to a 1.5, right? You've almost cut it, damn near cut it in half by just that little bit of chasing in late. So that's why I'm saying if you miss a call, don't chase it. There's always another call. You missed this one. Fuck, I missed it. Okay, let me set up for the next one. Right? Don't. I would highly advise you not to go chasing trades. And if you do go chasing it, make sure you are entering on some type of support. And I would keep a really tight stop because you have depreciated your profit while increased your potential for risk, which is not what you want to do while trading. If you're really confident in the call and you want to chase it, just make sure you keep a super tight stop. I also see your question about Filecoin. I haven't looked at Filecoin
You
forever.
hear Filecoin's coming to Sol?
Filecoin's what?
Coming to Sol?
No shit.
That's what I saw.
I did not. Okay. This is let me go to a daily first.
Dude, every time I'm gonna DCA my $1 a day in my meme coin, I'm just hear your voice like, buy on support, you motherfucker. You just keep me from like buying my degen ass coins. I don't like it.
Yep. If you're gonna buy, make sure you're buying on some type of support.
I literally like, oh, am I gonna get win today? Nope, it's not on support. Oh, Bonk is though. I put $2 in it.
Right.
It
So
works.
here's what I'm seeing as far as like the daily. Looks like we've broken the overall downtrend. This was kind of, at least for now, our bottom zone of like accumulation, and our bottom area that we've looked to support, lost support, then found support, was resistance, then became support and support. Our next big resistance point for Filecoin is pretty much across here. If we break through, because resistance, we have this resistance here that we're pretty much testing again.
Hey, Mode, how'd you get that the zone? You get the little box on the left that you draw with the zone. I don't have that one on my trading view. Yeah. Kind of.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, drop down menu from this. What is it? You have the cross, then 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth one down from the crosshair. Rectangle.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Oh, not as fucking cool as I am. I don't know what to tell you.
I got a paintbrush, bro. You ain't got a paintbrush.
Yo,
Suck it.
Rumty,
Fucking right, I got a paintbrush, bro.
besides the paintbrush, there's a small arrow, the drop-down menu.
Oh, okay. I see it. Thank you. I'm
This
blind.
clown. I don't fucking know.
Oh,
So Filecoin. If you are bullish on Filecoin, again, I would not look to buy right now. Why do I say that? Because it has started to pump. We are getting high on the RSI. We are about to meet what has been resistance, could potentially be resistance again. I would want to buy on some type of support. Be it comes down and touches this trend line, but this trend line's just from, this support and this support. It could vary a little bit. Is it on these EMAs? But I'd want to buy on some type of support, because even if it does that, right? You're buying your bag at 20 to 25% cheaper. It's a big fucking difference, right? So
Sure.
just buy on some type of support. And sure, you at least don't, and if you're buying here, yeah, it may go up 25%, but then it may come back down here to test this support. Now you're down 17. Well, what if you had just waited for that entry at this point, right? So I don't know. Always buy on some type of support, something that's showing you now's a good time to enter. You don't want to get caught up here because
I've been
you do
doing that
expect
too.
it to come down, even if you expect it to go back up, oh, how do you know the internet's not going to shut off right here? I know that's a big stretch, but you get what I'm saying. How do you know, like, fucking banks don't close? Whatever the fuck could happen can happen in this span of time. Anything can happen in the span of time. So, yeah, try to buy on some type of support. Don't chase shit.
Yeah, man.
And I say that with a little bit of animosity because I've gotten wrecked many times myself chasing shit. That's why it's like, I'm done with it. And I'm like, don't do it because I've done it plenty of
That
times.
shit will just chip away at your portfolio, chasing.
Yes. Yeah. It's not what you,
yeah. It's less impactful depending on your time horizon too, on how you're trading, whatever you're buying. But yeah, trying to get it as low as I can every time I buy something.
Well, like you said, you're looking to DCA into several things, right?
Yeah.
If you're looking to DCA into several things, you don't want to DCA in the one that's doing this on that day. You're glad you DCA'd into them when they were doing this, right? You don't want to DCA when they're doing that. Okay, DCA into the other ones that are still flatlined or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't chase, right? Because look, like, let's say, let's say you chase that next pump. Boom, you're getting in. What happened from there, right? Same here. Let's say you chasing this next pump. What could potentially happen from there? Same thing. So you want to at least know you're buying on some type of support.
But we're going to the moon, man, and I'm sidelined. I have to get in, like
fucking I dude, the only thing I'm trying to decide is between now and Friday what color Lambo I want. It's just I'm taking a Lambo
color?
with the
Moon boy.
I'm getting a bonk orange.
Yeah, I fucking wish.
Dude, you
Yeah.
never know, man.
Let me see. Did anybody else have AGIX? What's up, Abby? Glad to
Yeah.
always see you joining us, my friend.
Can we have a look at Crown and also AGIX? Yeah. My little sister bought this out of nowhere. She is not a trader. She's a normie, and
Well,
she's
she
up.
should be teaching this course because
Yes, she's up to 1,000%. So yeah.
Damn.
you know what that
What the
means.
fuck?
That means
Yeah.
take profits.
Yeah, better
Tell
take
her
Yeah,
profit.
that is what I
profit.
said to her. Yeah, but she don't listen. Yeah.
Oh my God!
no.
Tell her at least take her initial investment out, so it's
Exactly.
all free from here. But look, this
Yeah.
is resistance. There's a good chance that we come down and retest this and come down at least another 35%, even if it keeps ripping, right?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this coin.
It is
But what I
AI
do
coin,
know is you
but-
don't go broke taking profits. And if she's up
Yes.
1,000%,
Yeah.
she should take some.
Definitely
Yes.
take it, like you said, the initial investment out.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least take her what she put in out.
Then
Like,
you're playing with house money. You don't care as much.
yeah, then it's all free. If it goes to zero, well, it went to zero, but at least she didn't lose, you know? Yeah, pretty much looking
Win
at-
Abby's sister channel in frogs, you know? Like,
I see this as beginner luck. I don't know, but yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah. She
Trader
definitely knows something
Wednesday.
we don't.
Trader Wednesday coming in. Yeah, dude, this is a hard chart to even look at. Really having
Yeah.
this is a crypto chart. But you do see here the RSI topping out.
Yeah.
Getting pretty pumped, overheated. Could definitely come down, retest this top, and retest these EMAs. You know, something like this. And that's where you'd look to buy back if she took some profits. Or if this is one that you want to get into, don't fucking buy now while it's pumped like this. Wait for some type of support to go in on. Because again, you could be getting in 35% cheaper.
Yeah, but I need Lambo though. Bonk Lambo.
Bonk Orange. Let's look at Bonk. Did I look at Bonk? Yeah, we looked at Bonk. That's right.
Yeah.
I think Bonk's looking pretty good.
Yep. I've
This
just been buying
long
this
support.
whole fucking time.
Slow and steady. We've come back down to retest these zones. If we don't, man, we're probably slipping all the way back down to here, which
That'd be
is a
nice,
big
honestly.
ride back down. But
How much? What's that drop in percentage from there? Like to where you were saying?
that's an ouch.
Oof.
Another 60%. Yeah,
More
see,
Bonk
yeah,
for your boy.
uncanny, right? 60%. You would have thought it's like Soul was down, you know, to the next big level. But so
that's
far
interesting.
we've been finding support in this zone. Support and resistance in this zone. Since it was established back here, right? We tried to hold support on it, and that became resistance. Support, resistance, support, 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 resistance, resistance. Do we break down or do we break up? We break up, we could be going for it, you know. What do we have to 180% all retests all-time highs for Bonk.
We're going to the moon, man. Fuck that shit.
Anybody else got any other questions on charts? Otherwise,
Did you look at the crown? At crown?
Yeah,
Oh,
Crown.
Where is
There's an
Crown?
all-time
I
high
don't know.
right now.
Yeah, crown has been ripping.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see, once you start making the lower high, lower lows, you get the break. Then we found resistance, resistance, resistance. Got the break, set the higher low. I mean, that would be my take profit one. That'd be my take profit two on the fib, and it's hitting that prior resistance. I definitely would not go chasing this. I mean, it's pretty much at my hit. What would be my take profit 2 point based on the fibs of that break and that retest. But you have the support line there. So, I mean, it is in an uptrend and the steeper uptrend. Which is steep as shit. So that's more your shorter term, what this individual run is doing. But I would look to buy on, because you see how when it blasts away from support, it tends to come back down to it. I would look to be buying on some type of support, not into a major pump.
Yeah. I have already my investments out there. It's a free ride, but yeah, I have still some left and thinking to sell. Don't know.
Yeah, you may wanna. I mean, watch this trend line. When we start losing this trend line, you may want to look to take profits.
Yeah.
If you're playing with house money and you thinking like you believe in that, then you could sell a third and then try and re-enter. Just get more with free money.
Yeah. I mean, it's a game. I don't know.
Oh, it's a game.
and it's centralized.
You just don't want to be the player at the end holding the fucking tokens.
Yeah.
Right. It is a game. You just want to understand the intentions as well as the rules. There's a great quote. I'm trying to think of how it works, or how exactly it's said. The finite play within the rules. The infinite play with the rules. I'll say that again. The finite play within the rules, confined, right? The infinite play with the rules to their benefit. So understanding that there is a game to this and there is levels lets you play with them instead of playing just within what is happening. Everybody got anything else before I go back to Thor and go over it again? I guess we should look at Bitcoin too, obviously.
Yeah, Bitcoin's been swinging and dinging, but but didn't it hit that 15-minute 53K earlier?
Honestly, I don't really look at 15-minute charts. So I'm not sure. Or 15-minute calls. So I'm not really sure. Let me put this on 4 hour.
I don't did it? No, yeah, it did. But there's no
It might,
there's no
depending
active.
where it was very close. Somewhere down here, we were calling for the break and the retest, and you see what happened when we broke. We fucking broke. So here we were saying we were going to get the resistance or the break when we got that flat line, right? And we had pumped up on this long BTC call, same thing. Buy on the gold, right? Buy on the gold zone. Take profit one right here at the blue line. You see that was our top, temporary top. We came back to the zero. And then we came up to the green, which is my take profit two. And then ultimately we pumped even higher and are right on that last fib. So since all these other fib levels were respected so well, I think this one is too, and this could potentially be a top, temporary top. We'll see what we have for support. If I go to daily, you see this long support line from son of a bitch. Long support line. Damn it! There we go. Support, support, support. I think we could potentially come back down to it. We have these zones that weren't filled. We know 32,000 has always been a zone for Bitcoin, right? So we could retest those zones again, but I would look at that's our trend line that we're really looking at. Is this here. We lose that trend, then I think Bitcoin's going to take a ride down. Basically, if we don't hold above that, which we know is another zone, that 45 to 46,000, right?
Thinking it dips before it makes another jump, you're saying?
I mean, dude, it's crypto. Anything can fucking happen. We are actually, I mean, if you look on the RSI,
it's looking weak.
I mean, we're at neutral. Like, so we're not like over pumped to where we can't have an explosion. It's not like we're already topped out, right? If we were already topped out, I'd say, yeah, it's not going to happen. The fact that we're here at neutral, we could definitely still see some upward movement, for sure. But yeah, we're in an uptrend until we start making lower high or lower low, right? Till we get that lower high and then lower low. Whether that be here or here or here, don't know yet. But that's what we want to see. Is the break and the retest of the uptrend. Not just find support. And if you want to go long, buy on some type of support, not while it's just pumped out. All right. So before I jump back to Thor, here's kind of the visual of it. We have two short calls lined up here, and we've got the two relatively closer long calls lined up here, right? We have been on a uptrend. We did find support here on the long-term EMA. We may be finding resistance here on the short term. So we're looking to see, do we break back into this green line, or do we find resistance here in the green and the red on the downtrend? If we do find resistance, then we're looking for down here 10, 11% lower. We're looking for the Thor long call, right? Take profit. If we find resistance again, we're going to be looking for the Thor long call. Because remember, for those that haven't seen it, surprisingly, this is the first time I've gone to this tonight. Because usually I go to this 100 times. Holy fuck, did I mark this thing up? Can barely see what's on it anymore.
It looks like a ransom letter.
Looks like a fucking 4-year-old got a hold of my shit. No, those just moved. Right? Trying to make trading simple. How do you not understand this shit, bro?
Just draw the lines, bro.
Yeah, like. All right. So what the fuck did all that mean? An uptrend, what I define as, get out of here. You, get out of here. An uptrend is a series of higher lows and a higher high. So if this is our low, this is our high, we have a higher low established. We've now made a higher high. If we make a higher low relative to our last low, a higher low, it indicates we could potentially again see a higher high. If we do see that higher high, and again we hold a higher low, that indicates we could potentially see a higher high. At some point, when we fail to make a higher high, we make a lower high, right? That is our first indicator that we may be going a different direction. If we then break our uptrend and we make a lower low, right? If this was our last low, so now I've made a high, a low, a lower high, a lower low. That indicates a lower high. If we do get that lower high, this is where I like to go short, right? Lower low, lower high, and at some point, you're going to break this resistance. And when you do, you're either first going to get the higher low or the higher high, indicating your next trend. So that's how I like to read my trends. Am I still making higher lows and higher highs in an uptrend? Am I still making lower lows and lower highs, lower lows in a downtrend, right? So again, am I making high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low? Here we made the higher high, higher low. So we've got a higher high, higher low, indication of uptrend. Now we've seen potentially we have higher high, higher low. This was a lower high, but we made the higher low and then higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, lower high, lower low. So I'm saying if we make the lower high here, that's usually my entry point to look to go short. Look back at this again. When we have the lower high, if we get the break, lower low, if we get the lower high, that's where I look to go short. So we have the high, low, lower high, lower low. If we make that lower high, that's where I look to go short. Lower low, fill Thor call, lower high, lower low, fill Thor call, lower high. Now, same thing if we go up and we do find support. If we make the higher high all of a sudden, we'll adjust that. And we've got the higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and potentially higher high again. Don't know. Thor hasn't made the call on that yet. But that's what you could potentially see if price is going bullish. So you see how we have a plan if Thor goes either direction. If Thor finds support, or I'm sorry, we have a plan for either direction for Solana. Thor gives us a plan. If Solana pumps, we know where we're going to either close shorts or take profits. Close longs and take profits or open up shorts. Take profits on longs or open up shorts. Vice versa. If Solana breaks down, we know where we're going to close short, open up a long. Close a short, open up a long. Again, if any of this is confusing, fuck it. Don't look at it. You don't need it. Don't make it over confusing because Thor makes it fucking simple. Thor makes it easy for you. You don't need to know all that. So what do you mean then? Oh, we're going to pull up Solana. Here's our calls for Solana that we've got. So that first long call that we were looking at, that was this, the entry at $98.12 to $99.81. That's your entry zone. Here's your take profit. So if you want to take that trade, you go here to this button, risk management. You see it says set up trade. Click it. All you do here is enter the amount you're willing to risk, the amount you're willing to lose on this particular trade. Let's just say it's $5. I don't want to lose any more than $5 if this trade goes against me or against my TA or against this Thor call. $5. Calculate. Okay. I know I am going to buy 0.9 SOL at $98.12. I'm going to sell that 0.9 SOL at $105.56 for profit, or I am going to close my position at $92.53 for a loss of $5. There you go. You don't need to look at a chart at all. Let me go over that again. Let's say you want to do it with a short instead. Same thing applies, right? This is the first short that'll hit $120 to $121 your entry point. Risk management. $5 is all I'm willing to risk on a trade. Calculate. Okay, what do? I'm going to sell 0.64 SOL at $120. Or I'm going to open up a short, a perpetual short for 0.64 SOL at $120. I'm going to close that short, or I'm going to buy back my SOL, that 0.64 SOL, at $109.72. Or I'm going to close that perpetual short or buy back that 0.64 SOL at $127.81 for a loss of $5. So you see how you can look at any of these calls, go to risk management, put in the amount of money you are willing to risk on that particular trade. It tell you exactly how much to buy. I like to go with at least the 1 to 1.5 or the 1 to 1.2. But you see, you can go and it'll tell you exactly how much SOL. Buy one SOL at $86. Sell that one SOL at $99.37 and take profit one. Or sell that SOL at $75.97 for a loss of 10. This is the most important thing to understand out of everything I've said tonight, everything we've gone over. Understanding how to manage your risk, understanding how to protect your capital and manage your risk is the most important thing to understand.
Hey, Mode, I have a question about the V3, the contract.
The auto contract?
Yeah. Whenever.
Hang on. Does anybody have any questions about this before I move on? Just because this is really important and while we're right here. Does anybody have any questions on the risk management and how to set up a trade like this?
Yes. I saw you using it, and mine looks a little different. Do I need 5 frogs to use it like that?
This is the pro. Andy, if you're still around, how many? What level frogs do you have to beat on unlock Thor Pro?
Yeah,
Whale.
24.
24 frogs opens up Thor Pro. So Thor Pro, I can select an individual asset and only see calls for that asset. I can select only longs or I can select only shorts. I can select only particular time frames. It gives you just a complete different user interface and breakdown. Give me 1 second. I'll pull up the regular the regular Thor and show you how that looks, so you see exactly how it looks on your page. Even though it operates exactly the same, it'll just look a little different.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. And just from your presentation, I kind of understood the one I'm using better too, because you explained the risk management, and exactly how to calculate that. But basically, we have to do like a pre-analysis to see if we want to go long or short, right? But on mine, for example, it only shows longs. It shows no shorts right now.
Are you looking at it on the 4 hour?
No, I'm on the 15-minute, my bad.
Okay, so
it only shows only longs.
Okay, so if you let me pull this up now that I'm logged in. So this is what yours looks like, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so over here is where you're going to select your asset, right? And if you see the asterisk next to it, that means there is a call for it, right? So Sol USD. Now, if I go to time frame, if I see the asterisk, that means there is a call for it. So 1 hour, you see there's no asterisk. That means there's no calls right now. Now, for the 15-minute, there is a call. There is one long call, right? Now I see there's asterisks for the 4 hour. I go to 4 hour. I've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 calls for the 4 hour. If I go to daily, I see there's calls on the daily time frame. Now I have 1, 2, 3 shorts and 1, 2 longs. Now sometimes like the entry for like the entry for this long, $87 and to 86. See, that's also one of the 4 hour calls. So it's the same entry and same take profit. It's essentially the same call on 2 different time frames, but not always, right?
Gotcha. And then basically the calls expire themselves, right? Like on the take profits, or if they go down, then you just lose whatever you risk.
Well, you have to execute these calls yourself. So if you go to Riskman,
like unless it hits like a liquidation point, it won't do it automatically, right? You're saying I have to execute my take profits or my stop loss myself.
Yeah,
It
you have
depends on how
to
you're
do
trading
everything
too, man.
yourself. You have to like go to Binance or go to Drift or go to wherever and sell 1.29 Sol at $120 and buy that 1.29 Sol or close that perpetual contract for 1.29 at 109. Like it doesn't actually execute the trade here. All this does is tells you all the parameters you need to go do it on Coinbase, Binance, KuCoin, Drift, wherever you want to do it.
So these are like
wherever you. Sorry, go ahead.
These are like basically indicators in a sense.
Yes, yeah, but more than an indicator, it's giving you exactly when to get in, when to get out based on your risk tolerance. Whatever your risk tolerance happens to be, it will calculate for you. And then it's up to you to go manually execute this trade wherever you like, be it spot, be it perpetual, be it with leverage, which, you know, not financial advice, do your own research. This is based on spot trading, but there are people that use this with leverage that are profitable. That's not what we advocate. It's built as a spot trading contract, but however you want to execute it and whatever your risk tolerance is, it gives you the parameters for every trade that it calls.
Awesome. Appreciate that, man. And then like these update like every day, like you said, if I was to use leverage with it, how would I know when the call was given? It says it right there on the timer on the entry.
Okay, so if you look like this long call, right? This long call that we were talking about at 87 to 86, it will invalidate at 118. Which means if Solana hits 118 before it hits this entry zone, this call will disappear.
So it's like the price isn't there exactly right now. It's just telling you that you could put orders in to get the price there.
Basically, you put this order in. You can put this order in right now for you. Put an order in for a buy at 87 to 86. Your take profit at 99. Your stop loss. Let's say you want to risk $10. You're going to set those parameters. You're going to set your stop loss at 75.97. Boom. Your entire trade is executed. You don't need to look at it until it either hits take profit, stop loss, or if it hits 118 before it hits these entries, just go cancel this order.
That's amazing. Yeah. You can
It
trade
is
a lot.
amazing. It is amazing. When people get it, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna try it out this whole week now. Gonna see what's up. And I'll give you feedback.
Word. If you've got questions, there's plenty of people in the Discord that'll help. I do write-ups in the Tuesday Trader Review channel, where there's threads in there where I'll see them if you comment or need help. But yeah, if you need help with something, I or someone else can help you. But yeah, dude, it's pretty much, it tells you when to get in, when to get out, and if the call is still valid or not. It will invalidate the call at a certain point, just like the shorts. Go short. This short here goes short at 120 to 121. Take profit at 109. Well, if SOL drops all the way below 93, this short call is going to disappear. It's saying that, sure, we may visit that zone again, but it's not as highly probable that we test that zone and this retest point as it was, to where Thor's not going to call it now. It's just not as high a probability to print the call. The other question you asked, how often is it going to print calls? There is no answer to that. The answer really is, how quickly does price action change? If the market is just moving sideways and slow, it's going to be slow on printing calls. If the market is jumping up and down and it is hitting trigger point after trigger point, it's going to start firing calls off faster and faster. So it's not like, every 24 hours it gives you calls. No, it's all dependent on the money and the math of the market in real time as to when it prints a call or removes a call. There is no, you can expect 5 calls a day for SOL and 5 calls a day for Bitcoin. No, sometimes it'll be 10 calls a day, sometimes only 2. You just never fucking know. It's all dependent on the market movement.
Okay, that's awesome, dude. Sounds good. You're about to explain now the Auto Thor. My contract's about to expire next week. I'm excited.
Yeah, what's your percentage, if you don't mind me asking? What percent is it up?
So it's up like half the percentage it should be, because I doubled up about like 2 months in.
Right.
But right now it's at about 40%, 39. So it's basically at like 80 full contract.
Yeah. See, I did the same thing. I DCA'd into my contract too. So when I DCA'd in, it doesn't really reflect how much it's earned because it hasn't had the whole time to work with that money. But fuck yeah, dude, that's awesome. That's a nice chunk.
Is there a club for or a group of people I could talk to? I was thinking about, I had the sense of trade and make money trading, but the Auto Thor just really helps you kind of make passive income in a sense. I don't want to call it that, but in a way you're just automating something that makes money. And SOL is going to tend to pump, for the next year or two, based on what we know. So I feel like it's better to use it in an up market than a down market. So I'm seeing it as a really, I just wanted to see with people who have put more money in to get a perspective, because I was thinking of doing something like that, you know?
So here, I mean,
They're a
the
group
truth
of
of
like
it is when you go to enter the contract, it's never 50-50, right? It's gonna ask for whatever portion of SOL it's holding versus USDC. That's kind of what it's gonna ask for when you enter. Now, the whole point of this contract, what it wants to do is gain more SOL. So, in an uptrend or a downtrend, its goal is to make more Solana. So if you believe in the next couple years Solana is going to be more valuable, then any time to be in the contract is a good time because it wants to just accumulate more SOL. Basically, everything I just showed you on manual Thor, the 15-minute calls, the daily calls, the 4-hour calls, all those calls I showed you, that's what Thor is essentially doing all the time. Then it's also the SOL that it's holding on to, it's staking it in the meantime. And the USDC it's holding on to, it's staking in the meantime.
Hey,
which
Mo.
it has a $2.4 million portfolio to work with right now. Right? So basically it's staking your SOL, staking your USDC, and executing those trades that we were looking at. And it shows you here which trades it's making. But the goal is to always make more Solana. So there's not really a bad time to be into the contract.
So my question with the trading with the AutoThor, each sell, well, each buy, I was wondering. So every time Thor makes a buy, until a sell is made, are all of those previous buys before that sell allocated to that sell?
So think of it as, I would think of it more as, here's a buy and a take profit 1, 2, and 3. Now, this take profit number 3 from this bottom one may be the take profit 1 from this higher buy, right?
Okay.
But think of it as executing and operating the way you see the manual calls. It's basically buying at a point with a point that it plans to scale out at a take profit 1, 2, and 3.
Word.
So it's basically executing the manual trades automatically. So if you want to trade just Solana, it's hard to beat AutoThor.
That's what I'm
Now,
saying.
if you want to trade Bitcoin, you want to trade DOT, you want to trade ETH, you want to take some of that free jupe you got and make more money with it, that's where I find that the manual calls really come into play. If you have a big bag of SOL that you're just holding, I personally just took a big portion. I just took an additional 200 Solana from a bag I said I'd never touch and put it into auto. So
bullish.
Yeah, I am. I'm bullish on if we do go back down to that $11 to $14 range, $7 to $14 range that the call's making. You know, I do have some of that bag that I could take some, but why put that on myself when I know AutoThor does it better, right? So I'm bullish on SOL. I'm bullish on the contract. I've seen how it operates for several months now. I know the guy behind the coding of it and the security behind it. Because sometimes I even ask him, like, hey, Sal, can you do this? He's like, no, it's not possible. I'm like, well, if you can't do it to even help me out, then it's like completely not possible. That's even better for security. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like one day I was like, hey, I want to unlock my frogs just to move them to a wallet that'll never touch anything else and then just relock them again. He's like, sorry, bro, it's impossible. Like, well, they're going to stay locked. He's like, no, I get what you're saying, but it's impossible. It's like, okay, great. Well, that just lets me know the security is even better, right? But yeah, I am bullish on the contract. I am bullish on the way it accumulates and the way it operates.
Dude,
So I just put an additional 200 SOL into my
it depends
personal
on your
contract.
goal. Like my goal is to acquire more SOL. Like if I think it's going to drop from here, I put money in now. You'll be down in USD value, but it's going to accumulate you cheaper SOL. And then when it gets back up to the price, you'll be up in more SOL, and then you'll be up regardless. You know.
That's why I said, you know what? This is SOL that I like. I have a bag of SOL that I put away that I act as if it doesn't exist. I don't trade it. It's not to try to use to make more money with. It's literally to 5-10 years from now, hopefully that's all I ever fucking need, right? Well, fuck, instead of it just sitting there, why not let the contract make hopefully more SOL for me when I do think that we could be taking a ride down from here. I do think that we could be seeing some of those lower zones filled. And because of that, I thought, you know what, now's a good time to just, I'm confident in the contract. Here's what I said too, just like earlier. It's easier to look at the lines on the charts and know what to do than it is to push the buttons and do it, right? So looking at the contract and seeing that, or looking at SOL and seeing that we could be at resistance, but we could keep going. Should I sell some of that bag to really try to, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to stop thinking about it. I'm going to put it in the auto contract and let it do it. Right?
Yo, I haven't seen Thor make a bad trade at all since I've been like observing the trades for like the past, 8 months at this point? Or
I mean, the thing is the good trades far outweigh any bad ones in both the capital that it gains or loses and the amount of times it is right versus the amount of times that it is wrong. Right? So it's just, yeah, I trust it. Trust it enough to say, fuck it. I'm putting in.
I mean, that's like today. I'm at work. I didn't even know SOL dropped, and it bought. I can't even be around my shit. It's doing it. That's. I didn't even know it dropped, and I come back, and it's like back up to like 110. You know, it's like
right.
Okay. Well, that's why it buys, like, or it sells.
We'll see where she goes.
I hope it takes a shit, so I get more SOL in the auto contract, and I can buy more.
I wouldn't mind seeing it take a little dip. I mean, like I said, that's the difference when you start to understand markets versus when you're just fucking buying. Is when you say, "Oh, I hope it goes down a little bit," man. That's when you know you're learning the trading game versus
no doubt
just number go up when Lambo, bro.
I was talking to a coworker who's into crypto, and we were both laughing that like we're sad that SOL was pumping when it hit like 120. It's like, man, I needed to go down. Like,
it's bittersweet for sure.
Right? I did have one quick question for you, Mode. Like, because we did at one point have the like it was like $50 something on. I believe it was the 4 hour or the 1 day long. You remember how we had the 75? Yeah.
This 4-hour long has become invalidated. That's why I don't have those entry zones over here. Still.
Yeah. So I guess for that, like what it's such a jump to go from like the 87 or whatever it is long for the 1 day to the 14. Like how it's so, you know what I'm saying? Like how is there?
Maybe Thor is saying if we lose that, like we're talking fucking Black Swan event.
My God.
All Thor, look, Thor posts a call based on the probability of those data points. If we start moving down in here, I'm sure it's then going to have higher probability of data call points and make some other calls. Right?
Yeah. 100%.
I'm sure, like, well, we're not seeing any more long calls from Thor anywhere in this zone, right?
Yeah. It won't stay there, but I was just curious. Yeah, for the right.
Yeah, I guess right now it's just not saying, well,
it's
this
like,
is
87 or fucking Black Swan death. Yeah.
Dude, that would
be insanity. I mean, that would be insanity.
What is that? That's between 87 and 95.
That's another massive fucking bear, like true bear market type death.
Yeah. 87 to 95%. Yeah, just a little swing.
Just a little bit.
But no, it's just, I guess, because these are relatively far and it's waiting to see what happens.
Yeah. I figured that was the case, but I wanted to just ask your thoughts on that.
But yeah, so I mean, right now you see this has been our top, so expect some resistance in this area, hence the resistance calls approaching that area. And you see this had been our previous top, right? Which then became our new support. So look for long calls as we approach that support area. So if we move in range between here, pay attention to the calls we're approaching. But you see, we have a plan for either way Solana wants to move. If Solana wants to break down and make a lower high, okay, we're prepared to take advantage of the next move. If Solana wants to break out and make the higher high, okay, we're prepared to take advantage of the next move. Don't chase. There's always another trade. Manage your risk. Do your own research. Not financial advice. And yes, frog's
fuck.
I think that's everything you need to know.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, Mo.
All right, I am about to wrap it up here. But if anybody has any more direct questions, I'm glad to answer real quick.
It was a great, informative night, dude.
Appreciate you, Mode. Yeah, thanks.
Glad to have you guys always joining, for real. Like I said, it means a lot seeing the same people in here each week as well as new ones. It's good that I find new people in here, new people joining Frogs, new people finding out the power of Thor. But the same people joining each week, one, it's just cool as fuck hanging out with you guys in the community, but it lets me know that from week to week that this is valuable, that this isn't just redundant, that that you guys are learning something and that it is valuable to you guys to be here on Tuesdays. So I appreciate
this is the highlight of my week, bro. Seriously, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate the fuck out of that, guys, for real.
Like, I just need it every day, you know what I'm saying? But I know that's not feasible, so.
Oh, well, while we're talking about, just because we'll go super degen, someone asked about Kuji last week. I don't know who. But you see, we got the break of that downtrend and we're starting to move up. Whoever it was that asked about the Kuji. Someone asked about ADA.
Yeah, I was playing with Ada like all week. That bitch was violent.
Yes, it is. Remember we said if you want, you buy on some type of support. And it's been pretty much just finding support on the short-term EMA and then pumping. But we got the break of that downtrend and it moved, you know. And if you're looking longer term, this could be, you know, that support coming down and retesting the long-term EMA somewhere in there. But like we said, anywhere near this support, if you're looking for the longer term, has been pretty solid. Injective. Injective actually has, again, like we've seen from several things, has broken the downtrend, higher high. If it holds, this will be the higher low. So we could be, now that we've broke, that would be our uptrend there, like that. All right, remember we were in this price wedge? We said if we don't break above this line, we got the break, the retest, we said we're going down. We got the lower high, we said we're going down. We actually found about an equal low. When we came back up, we did test resistance, but then we broke through and found support.
Great line work.
Yeah, right? Pith, wow.
Bitch,
As we left off with last week, we said we were looking for the golden entry zone and we didn't quite get it, right? It found support up here. I mean, close. It was, well, 10%, not really close, but close in the chart to where we were calling for our entry. And it found support and took off. And we said, don't chase, wait to buy on support if you need to. Take profit 1 at the blue, take profit 2 at the green, and then we're calling for a double top and a break somewhere. And you see we've got what looks like a double top and a break starting. So, damn, I was off by, I guess, 3 days, Rumpty. Shit.
Imagine that, you know?
Right? Who would have thought? So, now, what are we looking for from here? Right? We're looking at that being our potential resistance. And I do want to pick up some pith, whatever the fuck you say.
Pith.
I want to pick some up.
Definitely when
I'm not buying it right now. While we just made a lower high and a lower low. Because what I can expect is a lower high and a lower low. Lower high, lower low. So until we break this downtrend, even if it happens right now, fine, great. But, you know, I want to see the break and the retest of that line, be it all the way up here where it found support right on the long-term EMA, or be it after it takes a ride down and it's down here. It doesn't matter where it is. But when it happens, then I can react, and I want to see this happen before I do react.
I did. So could you say buy like the retest or it breaks and then on the retest, I struggle like when it does break that downtrend inevitably. Like if you're trying to buy on that retest or on the, you know, support, like when I struggle on like confirming that that's going to hold, you know what I mean? Like when do you know to like, okay, well, it's looking like it's now confirmed here, because it could look like it bounces and then it's going up and then just drop down, you know. And I know that's you'll never really know, but I guess wasn't really sure.
So, like for instance, on this one, right? If you think that this is your top, right? Why would I think that is a top? I would have probably thought this was the top because I had a green candle, then I had a big wick and an engulfing red candle. To me, this says the second top. So if I'm setting a short based on like the fibs or something, oh shit, wrong one. If I'm setting a short based on the fibs, and look at that, perfect entry right at the gold zone, right? I'm looking at my stop loss above last low, which is up here, right? So this wasn't the actual bottom, or I'm sorry, the actual top. It did go a little higher. Even if this came up a little higher than that, it's still a lower high until it breaks it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can choose to DCA into here if you want or whatever. But, you know, now I'm looking for take profit.
And does the same, like, because you're talking about like adding to, you know, your stop loss or all that, I just trade spot. Does it apply the same like as trading spot? Like,
Well, I mean, if you sold some here, right? Yeah, you want to calculate, like, I mean, you calculate your risk, you know, okay. If it breaks this, okay, I'm buying it back for about 8% more. Are you okay with that? No? Okay, well then say 4%. If it breaks here, you're just buying it back regardless, as long as you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Right? Or are you looking to make that, you know, are you willing to give up that 4% chance for a 25% gain? Right?
Yeah.
Or to what would be TP2, 45%, right?
Mm-hmm.
But until, as long as I'm continuing to make lower high, lower low, lower high, even if it does even that every now and again, but Gradsky, if I end up finding lower highs, lower lows, it's not until I find, you know, until somewhere I find higher high, higher low, higher high, whether it be here and then the break, and then I'm looking for it on the retest, right? Or whether this very first move be on the break and retest. But either way, somewhere I want to see a higher low and a break.
Yep.
Indication that at least this downtrend is ending. We could go into a sideways trend. We could go into a slower downtrend. We could go into an uptrend. But at least I know that the momentum of this particular trend is ending when I get a break of that line or when I see the higher high, higher low start. That's your indicators. Like I said, the ultimate indicators I've found are fucking Thor entry and take profit points. That's why I use them so much in my own TA or my own charts, because they're the ultimate indicators. Two more DGen charts real quick. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for Pith. I'm actually looking for it to come down a little bit, maybe take a little bit of a break. look to potentially pick it up about 15 to 25, 30% cheaper. Gala, degen as fuck. Not financial advice. Do your own research. We're going to go to the daily chart on this one because you can see this one has gone down in the fucking dumps. We do have a break and looks like the higher low on the gold line, on the gold zone that we were talking about. And we said if we got that, we could expect to find some support. And so far, it looks like we have. From that call, the take profit one is 130%. And the take profit two is 240%. And if you look, that take profit 2 point is at a very known zone of support, resistance. So it's only fitting that, you know, we would most likely test it as a resistance again if we're heading up that way. To test all-time highs from here, we only have a casual 2,600%. Not financial advice. Do your own research.
Yeah, boy.
GMT. Someone asked about GMT.
I think that was Abby.
Yeah.
Okay, so remember we had the long-term down. This was what we thought was going to be our bottom support box here. And you can see since then we didn't come quite down to, I guess we were somewhere up here when I drew the lines and said we're going to come down. But yeah, we got the break and looks like the, break, retest, forming the higher low. Right? So if you're bullish long term, it looks like we're trying to hold bullish on the RSI. And it looks like we have got the break. We've actually started printing. You see, we've been printing candles all below the long-term EMA. We never got candles above the long-term EMA or to even really hold candles above the short-term. Candles are now printing above the short-term EMA, printing candles above the long-term, and holding above, right? So if we hold above here, that's indicating that break, retest, higher high, higher low. And if we've got the higher high, we've got the higher low, what does that indicate? Potential higher high. Next resistance major would be somewhere, support, resistance, support, resistance. We probably tested it up here as well again, right? Right through here.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in there is where I'd look to take some profit. What do we got from there? That would be 113%. And only a 16% basically set profit, or set stop loss, because it means it could head for the lower low. So let's see what that is. Let's say 18% versus 111%. That is a ratio of, if you were looking at Thor, where it says 1.1 to 1.15, this would say 1 to 6. 1 ratio 6. risk to reward. Again, this is a degen coin. This is not financial advice. This is just, you know, if you want to look at this and potentially take this trade on GMT, if it's something you're bullish on, or maybe you've been holding a bag of it, maybe you want to just look at where's a good point to get out. And now's not the time to get out.
Yeah.
Right? Now's the time where it looks like it could be on support. So that's why you don't want to chase up here, right? You'd say, man, I wish I got in. It's still fucking pumping. Shit, I should have got in. Shit, I should have got in. It's still pumping. Right? No, wait for some type of support to get in on. You'll feel much better. It's much easier to hold entries that are good entries.
Yeah.
All right. Yep, I'm spent. We'll go just sold chart again real quick so y'all can see it. 4-hour chart. You see where we may go if we break up. See where we may go if we break down. We have both short calls and long calls. So watch Thor, watch Sol, and just protect your capital. Manage your risk. It's ultimately what it's all about. You can find yourself a profitable trader. As long as you manage your risk and you can keep trading, you'll learn and you'll pick up techniques and you will become a profitable trader. If you don't protect yourself, you will find yourself just losing and you won't have any ammo left. You know, you got to live to fight another day. So protect your risk, protect your capital, manage your risk, trade well. Yo.
Real quick, just curious. Whenever I trade, this is real quick, promise. I don't typically aim for multiple. I typically focus on like one asset at a time, just personally. From your experience with Thor and using it, have you personally tried, like, of course, managing your risk, but firing off like multiple different calls at once? Like,
okay,
is that considered a strategy that? Because I've never personally.
There's nothing wrong with going in and putting a Thor long on Sol, a Thor long on Bitcoin, a Thor long on DOT. Go do whatever. What is important is you manage your risk on each of them. If you can't manage your risk across multiple trades because you can't keep track of them, bad idea. If you are putting in stop losses or making sure you're managing your risk, or you are accepting that, hey, if it goes down, I'm just accumulating this to my spot bag. Okay, but yeah, that's one of the biggest mistakes I would say I made as a trader before, was trying to trade too many assets and then not being able to keep track of my trades, right? And saying, oh yeah, I did take a spot trade on that. It was in profit just like I thought, but now I missed it. Now I'm down. So only what you can manage. If you're perpetual trading and you can put in the entry, the take profit and stop loss before it all opens, fuck, you can trade every different asset available if you want, because you've already managed your risk. But yeah, it's all about what you can pay attention to and keep on top of to manage. Most important thing is managing.
No doubt. Appreciate you again, Mode.
For sure. Appreciate you being here, bro. Anybody else? Last basic questions for a wrap up.
When Lambo.
After Sol hits that $7 to $14 call and then comes back to this point, that's when Lambo.
Yeah, I sell all my collectibles and my kidneys. We're good.
I will sell both my trucks.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Yo,
The one I don't know if I can let go, and two, I don't know if anyone but a real fucking gearhead would want to buy it. Its nickname is Old Obnoxious. Just to give you a perspective.
that can't sound good at all with the motor
Oh,
on it.
dude, as soon as I start it, literally the fucking windows in the house fucking vibrate with it.
There's somebody
Yeah.
who will want that.
I went to pick up a buddy one day, and I got to his house, and he was standing outside, and he goes, 4 fucking minutes. I'm like, what? He's like, 4 fucking minutes. I could hear your truck from 4 fucking minutes away. And it's like, not close. So, but anyway, yeah, I'm selling shit and
No
buying
sneaking
up.
up
Soul.
when you're driving that
I
shit.
sold my truck to buy a Lambo when Soul hit $7.
Bet.
All right. Appreciate y'all. I'm closing this bitch up.
Thanks.
It's been fun, as always.
Frogs fuck.
Peace.
Frogs fuck. Mode, you're awesome, man. We love you.
Thanks, Daddy.
Appreciate you, brother. We'll catch up soon, homie.
I will talk to you soon, bro. Peace.
Peace.
Later.